You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's the most authoritative news analysis show. My guest, Kweku Baku, Esan Koma, I don't know, and also Alex Markins.
I'm just thinking So is it then the case that the book runners took the dollars, sold it to Bank of Ghana, and then got then the cedi-denominated bonds were purchased? Would there be anything wrong if the book runners took the dollars from the investors and sold those dollars to Bank of Ghana for the cedis that were used to purchase the bonds?
You see, this is a specific transaction. We are not speculating.
Yeah, but the regulations...
no, I'm saying that this is a specific transaction.
Didn't the regulations demand that when the runners took the dollars, they sell the dollars to Bank of Ghana?
There are, if per what Mr. Opata said, the monies were paid into the Bank of Ghana account in New York.
Really?
Yes. Then it has a different implication. So at the end of the day, I don't want to speculate anything. I'm dealing with what information.
Yes, but the regulations and the guidelines that were issued. Yes. I mean, if we've been through them, yes, there's a suggestion that the monies would ultimately end up with Bank of Ghana. But you let's the last thing.
But see, if you want to follow suggestions,
the last thing.
We don't finish on the last
thing. You talked about the list of participants. I do not know any jurisdiction in the world where the list of participants in a bond are technically read out before Parliament. Yeah. To me, it's reverse business. It's anti-business. I believe that the list could be given to you under certain controlled circumstances. But if I were to take my money to invest in a country, and by the next day, the list of people and the names are being read on the floor of Parliament, I would have a very dire view of that country. And so it is maybe what we should do is to comply with the law, the circumstances that are with the information can be given to you. Yes. But in this instance where meetings of the Council of State are being published in a way that is prejudicial to the Council of State, will it be really wise and smart would it have been wise and smart for the finance minister to come to the floor to read out the names of the people? I think that is a bit anti-business, and you might be entitled to the information, but I think that the information ought to be given to you in a controlled circumstances, so you know what you want to do with it.
If I can respond to that, okay. If I can respond to that, our half-hour motion was very clear. Our half-hour motion.
You're doing this in a minute.
Yeah, didn't expect the minister to come by way of a statement. We had said the minister should be prevailed upon to provide the full set of documentation to Parliament.
So you didn't want a viva voce presentation?
No.
You just wanted...
No, and in fact, the speaker, in admitting the motion, made a very profound statement.
Read it.
Yes.
Read it.
You want me to read it?
Yes, read what he said.
Okay. The speaker said that this process is rare and that it has never happened in the Parliament of Ghana. As a result, he had to research. And when he researched, it was akin to that of somebody going to court to ask for documents. And because you want documents in order to discuss the transaction, until you receive the documents, you can't even debate. So even on that day, we couldn't debate. And he said, this process is not a substitute for a statement. And it is also not a substitute for asking questions.
All right. Interesting.
I hope you understand.
Interesting notes there.
I could actually explain that to you better. Yes, what he's saying is that, look, it's like what the speaker is telling you, that it's like
you can still accommodate a statement.
It's a subpoena process. You can ask ad testificandum, or you can go for the documents. And then
you're not talking to me.
Sorry, I'm talking to Ghanaians. So indeed, the tendering of the documents could go with viva voce evidence explaining what's in the document.
Okay.
So they
and
could
viva
go
voce is oral.
Sorry. I apologize.
But he doesn't have to read them.
Okay.
We have the documents.
All right.
Yeah, but he didn't read the documents.
Okay. So now let's hold on briefly.
So
let's go to the Bank of Ghana. Let's go to the Bank of Ghana and speak to Steve Opata, who has been mentioned in this discussion, and he will assist us to clear something briefly. Thank you very much, Mr. Opata, for joining us on Newsfile.
Hello, thank you very much.
Okay, right. So, in your professional capacity, we just want the clarification in the briefest way you can present it to assist relative to where you were mentioned. Please, let's hear you.
Okay, thank you, guys. I think I've been following the discussion, and where I was mentioned has to do with the currency in which the bond was issued.
Right.
No, it's
And okay, that's my understanding, and I'll come in if there are further questions.
Okay.
And I think I want to make it clear that the currency in which the bond was issued was in cedis, and it was also settled in cedis. At no point have I ever mentioned that the bond was settled in dollars. But I think in the discussion, what really happens is that if an external investor brings in, say, dollars, it will go to the custodian. And in this particular issuance, I think the custodians were Standard Chartered, Stanbic, and the third one I can't even remember.
SAS.
So if a non-resident investor brings in dollars,
okay,
and for some reason, because the bond has to be settled in CDs, and they don't have, the bank cannot give the non-resident investor CDs, then they will come to Bank of Ghana, sell the dollars to us, and then we'll give them CDs. So this is what happened. So they gave us, they sold the dollars to us, and we gave them CDs. So that is how it will go on to add to our reserve. Because we have sold, we have given CDs and gotten dollars, then it can open the stock of our reserve. So that's what happens. But I want to state clearly that when I came to the Parliamentary Accounts Committee, at no point did I state that the bond was settled in dollars.
Okay.
Actually, a question was asked that effect by the honorable member for Cater, but it was overruled by the chairman. So it never came up for discussion. So I would plead with all involved that they should stop mentioning my name as having said that. Because I've worked so hard to get where I am, and I don't want to be quoted for things that I have not said.
Right. And did you also say or suggest remotely that it was sent to the U.S.?
No, I never said that.
New York.
Never said that. I think a question was asked as to the process, whether it's similar, the book runner system is similar to the Eurobond that we issued. And I think I said something like the processes are similar. But I never said that the process was sent to New York account or something. I never said that.
Okay.
I mean, the tapes are there for all to play. Actually, on Friday, I asked my communications department to play me the whole tape so that I hear sections that I spoke. And I listened to the whole tape, and I never said something like that.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Steve Opata of the Bank of Ghana. Now, let's come to...
They bought the CDs from Bank of Ghana.
Yes, exactly the point you were trying to make.
So at the end of the day, it is part of our international reserves. I think we should be praising Bank of Ghana, the minister.
It doesn't end the matter.
Okay.
It doesn't end the matter.
Right.
He's hanging himself. He says he's worked for so long.
It's a brilliant.
What he said on Public Accounts Committee is a public record.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
So
Thank you.
I have the draft here.
Right, thank you. He doesn't believe in this draft. Okay, now let's hear.
We'll play the audiovisual.
Let's
Don't worry.
hear Mr. Fian Markins. Yes.
Well, Samson, first of all,
Isaac has gotten you to put down so much. This is a whole note.
First of all, my very respected honorable member here, whom I know is a professional, and this field is his area. I feel so disappointed in him that in his submissions, he would include in saying that the whole transaction was cooked by the finance minister for his friend. I think it's a way, way, way low submission. That shouldn't have come from him. First of all, Franklin Templeton, or the FT, is not a human being.
Why are you repeating that?
Oh,
they have
because
consistently told you that they haven't said it's a human being.
No.
Do human beings have board of directors?
Oh, you are told Kweku to listen to you in silence.
Okay, I hear you.
Once a while it happens.
Okay. You have said this morning that somebody cooked the transaction for his friend. You know that that is not true.
Where is the 4.8 billion?
He has not cooked a transaction for a friend. You know that as a fact. The government dealt with an institution and institutions who participated. Now, what is all these technicalities about bond? Let me break it down to the ordinary man's language. As part of our debt refinancing arrangement as a government, certain maturing debts needed to
to be paid. One of the steps taken was to look for money. This whole thing is a borrowing, looking for money to pay off some maturing debt at a lower cost. I want to say here, for the records, that for the 8 years that NDC came into office, the bonds that they issued, none of them was ever gotten at the price, 19%, that we got this one. We got it beyond 19, 20, 23%. So this is the cheapest we ever got in terms of interest. So NDC should be applauding Ken Ofori-Atta and his team. That yes, for 8 years, in spite of all our efforts, we couldn't issue a bond at such a low rate. We couldn't, and I want them to argue me on that. This one is the lowest rate ever, and it's a savings for the country. The finance ministry has gone on record to say that, look, the issuance of this bond and the payment of some maturing debt has saved this country over 600 million. Have they responded to that? Have they questioned the finance ministry on that statement? No. So we come back. My own friend on CTFM, Kweku said they've been doing shifting cultivation. I will add, and I'm quoting Kweku again, they are creating an artificial forest to hide their intention. Their own artificial forest, they are creating that. When they did their...
When he makes his submissions, don't you find that there are germane issues? They may have questions that you may feel like the minister also feels that they are doing it out of ignorance, even though they feel that is an insult. You know, if they are asking the questions, why don't you just supply the answers rather than take them that path?
Thank you. I'll come there. I'll come there. One, in their maiden press conference, they attacked the government for breaching the constitution. He, on CTFM, said that they have abandoned the constitution argument. I heard him. He said, oh, the issue of... Yes, you spoke to CTFM in the evening after your press conference. After Forson's press conference.
I said what?
You spoke to CTFM.
And I said what?
They asked you the question of the constitution and he said they should have come to parliament.
Me.
Oh. Well, if it is not you, I withdraw. If it is not you who spoke,
okay, so proceed.
you are not Adongo.
Right.
We are establishing the...
Honorable. It's all right.
Right, it's okay.
If you say it is
It's
not
okay.
you.
Now proceed, yeah.
But a member of parliament on the NDC side spoke. And when he was asked the question of the constitutional breach, he said they have abandoned that one. They got it wrong because the issuance of the bond was part of the general appropriation. This was the person's response. So you shifted the goalpost. No more constitutional breach. This is what you said. Then you come to the next issue of where you are saying that, look, the issuance of the bond was not regular. You've been referred to a calendar which clearly stated that at such a period, we had the existing calendar that Ghana was going to issue bonds. Now you abandon that argument again.
Who?
Please.
Why is
please.
this guy just putting words in
Please.
our mouth? No, but
I
you
am
have
not
to be
saying you,
factual.
your group.
I mean us. You
Oh,
are
please,
you are
yes.
putting words in
But
our
that
mouth.
is what you've done.
Second
in
quarter
Parliament.
doesn't start in March.
Oh, honorable.
That second quarter starts in March.
Honorable. Oh, is that your way?
Okay, so go ahead. Go ahead, let's hear you.
No, so if you keep putting...
Oh, no, is that your way?
If you keep saying
Take
things that are
notes,
not
take
right,
notes, take notes, take notes, and rebut.
We'll go ahead.
You now shift the goalpost again. You are talking about relational interest. I would have thought that in coming to Parliament with their motion, they would raise the relational interest matter. They never raised it. What was their issue? That a motion for a full disclosure of utilization of proceeds. Now let's talk about the law. He was referring to, this is our holy book in Parliament. We have Order 2, which talks about no implied restrictions. We have Order 3, which talks about suspension of standing orders. They brought the application under Order 49. Ask them. That Order 49, that motion was not a procedural motion. Did we debate on that motion? Was there any resolution on that motion? Why didn't they go under Order 50? Now, Mr. Speaker admitted whatever process they had filed under Order 72. What does Order 72 say? I will read. A minister of state may make an announcement or a statement of government policy. Any such announcement or statement should be limited to facts which it is deemed necessary to make known to the House and should not be designed to provoke debate at this stage. Any member may comment briefly, subject to the same limitation. Did the finance minister, in making that statement, disclose some fact? Did he?
He did.
Those facts that you required of him, did he disclose? If you want a debate, you have this holy book. Open up, come under the, I am not the one to direct you, you have your own team. But because of your mischief, you want to raise a matter, hide behind something else, then when you are giving the information, you say, oh, it is not true. Oh, we need more. What we expected you to do.
But 72 allows for questioning. You are
Oh,
just
please,
ready.
it doesn't, please, with respect. Please.
It's a comment.
No, briefly, brief comment. You are, it seems that you subject to the same, you are not even supposed to provoke debates. So if you really, what is your real intention? Do you want us as a house to debate your concerns? You have Order 50, which talks about matters.
Your orders and rules to defeat the substance of what has to be done.
Oh, come on. The effect of these rules are to guide us in substance and in form.
But they ought to be interpreted in such a way that what you're suggesting may be the height of technicality. That
No, you're
there.
getting it wrong.
And you said they should go away because they haven't invoked the proper order.
Samson, I am telling you that in Parliament we have a procedural motion. That one you don't need to debate. You move and seconded, you gone.
Okay.
The one that you want the House to resolve to take it up, it is debated. And you vote on it. Order 49 is there. So I don't want them to talk about the half-hour motion. They never came under half-hour motion in its true sense. You can't say that because if you are talking about half-hour motion, that's why I said opposition can be sweet. Mr. Speaker might have indulged you, but I'm telling you, I was sitting down quietly watching them. I said, what is going on in this house? But well, you are doing it, you say, under 49. Read an Order 49 fully. You will realize that the statement was your whatever intention you had. You did not fully cover it under 49. I'm telling you, it's here.
So if they come,
the minister, if you really want to debate the matter, pick your rules book. I'm not the one to tell you what to do. Pick it, read 50, I'll give you a lead, read 50. Read other orders.
Interesting.
So don't now attempt to trap the government, ask for information, a statement has been read, facts have been provided, now you say that, oh, he didn't disclose. What else were you expecting him to disclose?
Okay. Thank you. So
what else were you expecting him to disclose?
I'm going to finish.
What is it that was
finish up with
you expected that you were not
with a brief intervention by Ace, and then Kuku has maybe a minute to
let me say something that. Look, I am very happy about one thing, that Parliament even decided to do this. I think that this Parliament, for will or for woe, whatever the intentions might have been, covered itself with some glory when it decided to admit the statement, or because wasn't this matter pending before CHRAJ?
Sure.
Hadn't the Parliament previous to this ruled that it wasn't going to investigate the matter because the matter was before CHRAJ? But now Parliament was prepared to investigate a matter which is before CHRAJ. I think it's a great step forward. And we ought to praise this Parliament for it, and those in the previous Parliament who ruled that because the matter was before CHRAJ, Parliament was going to abandon its investigation powers to CHRAJ, should bow their heads down in shame. This Parliament has done well, and I'm happy about it. The fact that Parliament could pull the finance minister in to explain these transactions in the way he understands it, I think is also a plus for Parliament. The result might be something else, but I'm happy that Parliament is asserting itself. We hope that Parliament will assert itself better in other areas too. But I am happy with that, with that, and that's what I wanted to say. And also say that on the constitutionality issue, when it came, I remember the NDC guy saying that this was unconstitutional. It required parliamentary approval. And when I said, no, I don't think so, you should have seen the bashing I received, particularly on social media. I'm happy that they've come to the point to realize that there was no issue about the constitutionality issue. They claim to have abandoned it. But that's another thing. But, when you make statements which border on conflict of interest, with due respect to everybody, it is not simply that I am related to let's assume I'm related to Kweku, so I can't give Kweku a contract. The minute I give Kweku a contract, it's a conflict of interest. The test for conflict of interest has been established by our Supreme Court in Okuchetu Ablakwa versus the Attorney General. There are 7 key tests. You must run your complaint through each and every one of them to ascertain whether or not there has been conflict of interest. That is what I don't find. That the test hasn't been applied. And maybe if it's applied, it might show or might not show that there's been a conflict of interest. So I think that we should stop bandying that word around.
And the text briefly includes what?
Well, I can list some of them to you. One, right. For example, some of the key ones. Did the decision maker profit by the decision or action to provide a basis for conflict? Okay. Was the decision taken in his favor in an unjustifiable preference to other applicants who were equally or better qualified but were bypassed because of some oblique motives or obscene considerations or special favors or due to family, social or political connections to provide a basis for establishing favoritism, nepotism, cronyism, etc.? What were the grounds or basis for making the decision for that particular recipient? Were there known and established procedures or processes for taking the action or making the decision duly complied with? And so if you, particularly even with the petition in CHRAJ, what are the procedures? And I think that's why the finance minister set down the established guidelines from 2015 for doing it. Then you run this transaction through it to see whether any of them was breached. If it was breached, then you are getting more into the Okuchetu Ablakwa 7 principles there. That is what, respectfully, I haven't seen happening. And so it is out there, suspended in the air, but the real grounding in law appears to me to be missing.
The petition you see at CHRAJ, if you have seen the copy of it, maybe you say, I just made an argument again about not focusing on the technicality and procedure to defeat the substance. Does it not look more like a piece of paper on which questions are being asked of CHRAJ rather than a petition, so to speak?
Yes, but you see, if you ask questions to the person. CHRAJ can't answer your questions. You know, you are going to CHRAJ to make a substantive complaint. Right. You are not going to CHRAJ to post questions. It's like going to court to say, I'm in court, I'm going to ask questions of the court. You must make a substantive claim that X, Y, Z happened, it breaches ABC law. You don't throw questions in the air because CHRAJ isn't your answering machine.
Thank you.
And so we ought to be careful about some of these things. So, but just to conclude, my conclusion is that the fact that Parliament is even investigating this is good. All of us have learned about book runners and everything, and we thank Parliament that finally there's a Parliament in this country that will not defer its investigation powers to CHRAJ.
Right, thank you. Now wait. Let me take Kweku first, and I asked that question about the form in which the petition appears because I have a feeling that CHRAJ should want to be interested in establishing a prima facie case first before it even invites the other party. And if you look at the substance of what is submitted, can it say that on the face of it, it was able to establish that there was a case for the minister to answer before inviting the minister to bring his answer? Yes.
Yes, I see where you are coming from, and it's a solid point. But I still think I'm with CHRAJ allowing this because that's the best way.
You open the floodgates and you cannot control it.
Well, that's a good point. But in this particular case, I really love what CHRAJ is doing. I pray to them they should set up a panel hearing. It's important. Okay, they shouldn't ignore the weaknesses that you are pointed, which is true. The gentleman, the petitioner, was on a fishing expedition. That's what he was doing. But see, they have not entirely abandoned the constitutional question. Atufo Sinstin, his submission last Wednesday, was it? It's here. Mr. Speaker, the last statement he made, it is not good enough because we believe this still falls under the ambit of Article 1815 of the Constitution. This is what he said. So this House, this Honorable House should have the opportunity to debate this matter. So they haven't abandoned it. Indeed, Aaron Edrusi too, in the early part of his submission, also dropped that hint. Except that, you see, there's like a cowardly handling of it now. It's not very manifest, not very visible. Now, last point. Oh, please, this is very important for me, but it's short. The prospectus matter. They are saying that it's dated September 2016. So, if I understand them, they are suggesting that it's inapplicable for a transaction that happens in 2017. That's not true. One, when you read the prospectus, it's a large volume of information, and they remain basically the same all the time. So what they do, and this document was given to Parliament, if you go into the prospectus, there's a part, it says incorporation of documents by reference. And it says that the following documents are incorporated by reference and form part of the prospectus. 1, all supplements to the prospectus circulated by the issuer from time to time. The deed of covenant, each applicable pricing supplement relating to any tranche of bonds issued under the prospectus, and the Republic's budget for each fiscal year for which the program remains valid and in force. The above documents shall, where appropriate, modify and supersede the contents of this prospectus. So you see, you don't have to do a new prospectus for every single issuance bond you are issuing, you are putting out there. You don't have to. The transaction announcement, which is issued relative to a particular bond transaction, will contain the new elements for the information of the market participants. So the 2016 dated prospectus that they are talking about is the same prospectus that guided the first quarter, which was signed into being by Setekbe. The January to March is the same prospectus that was used for the second quarter.
Where photocopies are being presented as he alleges. Hold on, I want you to be the last to say a word on this. Now, 1 minute. 1 minute, just quickly canvass what you have to say.
Address the issue of ignorance as they seem so worried. But the NDC has forgotten that in all of this, they themselves are making an attempt, a strenuous attempt, to discredit an individual in the person of the finance minister, in spite of all information given. So, how else do you trying to discredit him, cite him for conflict of interest, attempting to claim without evidence that the man has benefited from this transaction, then you are worried about he describing your conduct as ignorant? In any event, aren't you doing all this in bad faith? Why is it that they are not demanding for those who participated in our bonds in the 8 years that they were in office? In any event, even the IMF... I am asking... Oh, please. It's not about those issues, but it's as relevant as the discussion on the table. This is not the first time. If this is the first time we are issuing domestic bonds, I would agree with you. But I'm saying that if you need information, take them as a whole. Don't be selective. Don't say that you just want the one that was just issued. In any event, you had authorized certain bonds to be issued in January when you were still in office. Why are you not asking for the full details of same? I feel very disappointed in their conduct. Mischief, bad faith, and their target is finance minister because the man has come, he's quoted the Bible, they are not happy with it, they want to go after him. And when he's saying that collectively you are being ignorant, you are peeved. Okay. But you are attacking his personality.
Let's hear Isaac to conclude. But our attention is being drawn to some facts that we may have gotten wrongly about the Speaker Ajaho, for example, when he ruled that a matter pending before a court was not to be debated by or investigated by the House. It was rather in the court, not in CHRAJ. The Fortis matter was in court and not before CHRAJ.
This is the Ford matter.
The Ford was before CHRAJ. You're right.
CHRAJ. They ruled not to investigate the Ford matter because of CHRAJ. I know what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now, yes, Isaac.
I think that I have already explained that you can't use a plain vanilla prospectus.
Please, you said this.
But I need to say it again for you to understand.
But read Order 49 that which you came.
For you to issue a callable bond, you can't be using a prospectus that is for the sale of tomatoes to sell mangoes. That's the way it is.
Oh, but I just read
It's simple.
What it
No. That's not the import of what you read.
Honorable.
That is not the
Look at your
The
order
lawyers are
49.
here.
You read
Can
order
I-
49 under which you came.
if I can make my
Please,
point.
let-
If I
let
need
him
order
finish.
49,
Let him
I will
No, no,
finish.
but I'm giving it to you.
I don't need it.
You see?
Listen, let me make my
No, no,
point.
but read
Let
the
me make
49 under
this
which you
easy.
came.
You
No,
don't
because
want.
all
He doesn't
these
want me
things
to
were
talk
ground-
again. He doesn't
all
want me
these
to
things
talk
that you are
again.
saying was
Affair-
grounded.
Affair-
No, no,
Are you
your
frightened?
motion. I cannot be. You know,
Then let me
I'm a
talk.
bold debater.
Then let
Why
me
would I
talk.
be frightened? But
Why, you are
by you,
frightened.
me,
So let me
It's okay,
talk.
it's
you
okay.
came
We
under
need to
49.
move
Let me
on.
talk.
We need to
Are
move
you
on.
frightened?
Yeah.
Were you-
Sorry,
did you
sorry,
come
we need
under
to move on.
49?
Yeah,
Are
so
you
I,
frightened?
Did you
Isaac,
come
let's
under
hear.
49?
Is prospectus
Did you
anything
come
to
under
do with
49?
Is prospectus about 49?
But you granted your motion
You
on
want me-
49. Read
so you are
49
not
for
asking me to tell
for the viewing public.
Are you not telling me what I should say?
Read 49. You came under 49. You are referring to your motion.
Alex, read 49 for me and
But
let
that's
me
not
hear
even
him.
what I'm
Quickly,
discussing.
you
I'm
just hold on.
discussing something
Read
else.
49.
No,
Let him read. Dispense with
I
it.
want him to read.
Okay, order
I want to
49.
read it in full.
Order
And
49.
ask yourself whether you
Order
satisfy
49-1.
the 49.
Should I read 49-1?
All of it, yes.
Oh, all of it. Okay, it says that on any day on which the order paper contains the item half-hour motions, Mr. Speaker shall interrupt business 30 minutes before the conclusion of business, and thereupon, or at the conclusion of business before that time, call upon the member in whose name the item stands to move the half-hour motion. 2. No amendment to such a motion shall be permitted. 3. The subject of the motion shall be one for which the government is responsible, and the right to move the motion shall be determined by ballot under the direction of the Speaker. 4. Okay.
So, I ask relevant questions. Did we take any ballot?
Who's on the floor?
But
Okay.
I
I just read that, so now proceed
So,
with your
did
and
we
please
take
do
any
that.
ballot?
Who is on the floor?
Do that in a minute,
Who is
because
on the
you
floor?
actually done.
49.
I needed you
The
to
guy
canvass
won't
any
let-
other matters.
he won't let me
Please,
talk.
please,
No,
allow him.
because you're
No, it's okay.
debate.
I've read it, so it serves the purpose. Let's go on now. Yes, I have somebody on the phone line who I'm going to speak
The
to.
Speaker in admitting the motion. These orders are in the bosom of the Speaker.
Oh,
And the Speaker in admitting the motion in his own
the things
wisdom.
that are stated.
In his own wisdom, agreed that we should not debate this motion until we have.
No,
He's here.
you are confusing
He's
matters.
here.
Please, Speaker admitted it under 70.
Okay, can you move on?
Under 70.
Please, please, it's
How
okay,
will the
it's
people
okay.
hear
Go
when
ahead.
he's making noise like
I'm
that?
not making noise. I'm directing you to do the needful. You are confusing
I am not here
everybody.
to have your
Okay,
debate.
yeah,
I'm not here to talk about what you want
I'm
me to
terminating
talk about.
data at a certain
I
point.
don't
So
know why-
can you
I
just
don't know
focus
why
on
Read
that?
72 and don't confuse people. Read 72.
Okay, you
and
know
now
what?
with the minister came to
Just
parliament.
ignore him. Make your point quickly.
The important thing is that the minister the book runners built a book of 49 billion. The minister issued bonds of 97 billion. We don't know how he raised
97
additional
billion?
9.7 billion.
You
Sorry.
see, so no more.
But
49.
we don't know how he raised the 4.9 billion. I mean the 4.8 billion. We don't know how he raised it. And yet we know that if you add the 4.8 billion to what Frank Interpreter got from the normal bidding process, it comes to 2 billion of what he got. We want to find out whether Frank Interpreter arrived in this country, the fund manager of Frank Interpreting arrived in this country at a time when the market, you can't issue a calendar for second quarter on the 30th of March. That same day, you announce that the next day you are going to issue the second quarter bonds.
Incredible.
Now let me do
Issue
this.
the second quarter bonds just the next day.
Okay.
And an investor, a fund manager was already in this country aware of this transaction.
Thank you.
And
So-
in the end, you sourced 4.8 billion in addition to what
This is a
is
point
in
you have
the
gone
normal
over and
list.
again.
So-
Now quickly, let me do this. Sorry, gentlemen.
That's
Sorry.
what happened. I have shown you the
It's okay,
documentation.
gentlemen.
Now show me where you got it.
Sorry. Thank you.
That's what happened.
Thank you. Now, let me go on the phone lines and speak to Dr. Brogya Gyenfi. That is the entrepreneur and businessman who sought, and he said, for very genuine and good reasons, to rescue the country from this brouhaha and to stop damaging the image of the country and to stop investors that may impact negatively on investors who intend to come in here. And it does appear that even the NDC members on this particular team some of them don't seem to want the intervention he was making because he was trying to stop this process. Dr. Ni Kote-Jani, thank you for joining us on Newsfile.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Right. Let's hear you briefly.
Oh, no, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity, but I would rather prefer not to talk about this issue. I don't want to talk about this issue. The reason why I call is that my attention was drawn that one Honorable Adogo said on the program that I used somebody's number to call him, and that when he returned the call, he said it was me, and he wondered why I used somebody's number to call him. And I just want to clarify that is not true. It's a lie. I've never at any point in time used anybody's number to call anybody, and I don't even know him. And I don't know whether he even knows me. So I just want him to withdraw that statement. He should get back to the person and investigate and find out whether truly the person is telling him the truth or not. But I don't know why he should say this on the air when he has not verified. I have never at any point in time, I don't even know him. I don't know why I should call him.
Okay.
You know,
right.
And so that's all. I don't know the intention of his statement, and I want him to withdraw it and apologize.
But since we have you, right? But since we have you on the phone, since we have you on the line, can you briefly just tell us why you felt there was need to bring the Council of State to assist in this process?
Respectfully, as I said, I just told you that I rather would prefer.
Okay. Well, you have told us that, and I have also relayed that to the public. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you
very much.
Right. Okay. So at this point, we're taking a quick break. When we return, we want to ask the question again: why a 3-year ban, suspension placed on a lawyer is such a big deal or big news in this country. We'll be right back.